There is no way I would go up there. But with movies like Everest, I don't have to. Baltasar Kormákur directs his movie as the old battle between man and nature. He tells a true story of the tragic disaster that took place in 1996. If you don't know what actually happened, I would recommend just watch the movie and then afterwards you can check the facts. This is often my approach when watching a true story of something I'm not really familiar with. If a movie intrigued me, I will read about the true events later, and actually if it didn't, I will do so too. So as far as I know, Kormákur and his two writers were very faithful to what really took place. They based the movie on several books about the disaster, including Into Thin Air by John Krakauer, who is played by Michael Kelly here. But our main protagonist is the veteran mountaineer Rob Hall, who climbed Mount Everest 5 times. He is portrayed by Jason Clarke, who does a great job as a father-like figure. Jake Gyllenhaal, who plays a more rogue-like, not as disciplined climber, jokingly calls him a handholder at some point. He holds the hands of his clients, who are given the opportunity to conquer the highest mountain of our lovely planet, with his help and about $60,000–$70,000 to pay for it. But instead of focusing mainly on Clarke and Gyllenhaal, Everest is an ensemble movie. There are a lot of people here. Clarke and Gyllenhaal are joined by Josh Brolin, Sam Worthington, Emily Watson, Keira Knightley, John Hawkes and some other actors. So let's start with the good things. I saw this movie on an IMAX screen, and while I couldn't care less for 3D, the pure size of it was quite overwhelming sometimes. Combined with an impressive sound design, the feeling of being confronted by this monster or rather by this unforgiving beauty of nature was really something. I liked how the movie tried to stay realistic. This is of course no cliffhanger, even if there are some things here and there that are not quite as rational as it should be in a movie like this. For example, the characters constantly remove their goggles. But of course we want to see the faces of our actors. Not only because we like them so much, but because it helps us to tell all those different people apart. But there are no exaggerated stunts that no human being would survive, or Hollywood-like last-minute rescues or things like that. It really feels more like a down-to-earth tale of a really tragic event. It's able to really grip you at times, shook you, make you move nervously in your seat, and in the end leaves you with a big emotional punch. But it could have been better. This movie has some faults. There are really many characters we have to deal with, and like in many other cases with an ensemble cast, we are only able to get to know these guys based on 1 or 2 character traits. And what's so sad about it is that you can feel that these men and women have very interesting stories to tell. They are all based on real persons that lived through this disaster or died in it. But the movie is simply not able to give them enough time to develop. Especially when it comes to their interaction. There's some good stuff here, and I wish I could have seen more of that. The relationship between Clarke's and Gyllenhaal's character feels genuine and full of potential, but in the end it goes nowhere as the movie almost drops it completely. The same goes with Brolin's and Hawkes' characters. Brolin is the rich man who tries to escape from his depression, and Hawkes plays a normal guy who makes a living by working 3 different jobs. They are people that normally wouldn't go together, but on Everest they are united by their dream to get to the top. But again, the movie is only 2 hours and it never reached its potential, character-wise. There's one central moment where the journalist Krakauer asks the whole team why each of them is there, and the answers all fell a little bit flat. With the exception of Hawkes, who like I said is a guy like you and me, there isn't simply that much from the others to paint them all that sympathetic. And that means that the movie can't rely as much on the human level as it should. The main attractions are the visuals and the charismatic portrayals of Clarke, Brolin and Hawkes. And in the end, Everest struggles also a little bit with the filmic execution of all the main events. It's not always clear where everything is, where the camps are, the individual slopes and steps to the top, where all the characters are positioned, etc. But maybe it was just me who was a little bit lost. Or not really lost, but sometimes confused, I would say. So in the end, Everest is a movie I would still recommend checking out. It doesn't live up to its potential, but as an experience, especially when watching it on a huge screen, it works. It's halfway realistic, stays true to the real events, has some good performances and an emotional finale. It could have used more focus, more time to develop all those characters, and some narrative and visual storytelling aspects were kind of off. So what did you think? Did you enjoy Everest or not? Did you shed some tears in the end, or do you want to go climb that mighty beast yourself now? Please tell me in the comments below, and like always, I will answer you all.